Hello again. Today we're going to be looking at another wonderful topic, but we're looking at basic science. And we're talking about space travels. We've talked about Earth and space. We've also looked at several issues on satellites and so on. And today we're going to be looking at space travel. As the name implies, it means traveling to space. And space has to do with the outer space, that is outside of the Earth, all right? And we have several things to look at under this particular topic. We're going to be talking about meaning of space travel. We're going to also be looking at astronauts, okay? Who are astronauts and what they do. We're also going to be talking about purpose of space travel. We're also going to be looking at benefits and dangers of space travel. And then finally, we're also going to be talking about problems of space travel. Now, let's begin with the first one, which has to do with meaning of space travel. Now, the space outside the sun, the star and earth is called outer space, all right? So when we're talking about space travel, we mean traveling to outer space. That is traveling outside of our home planet Earth, traveling into space. Now, it can also be traveling to the moon because the moon is not in Earth, okay, on Earth. So traveling to the moon is also space travel. Traveling to planets can also be called space travel. Traveling to orbit around the Earth is also called space traveling because you are actually out of the Earth. So any movement out of the Earth can be termed as space travel. Now, space travel is done using what we call a spaceship. You can only do that using a spaceship, which is a special craft. You don't do that using a bus. You don't do that using an airplane. There is a special craft, not an aircraft, but a special craft, which is called a spacecraft or a spaceship. And it has several features that helps it navigate its way into outer space. All right. Now, we have astronauts. Now, astronauts can be called space travelers. Now, these are people that embark on the journey of going out of the Earth. Most times, there are several purposes why they do this. We're going to be looking at that much later. We're going to see some of the purpose for traveling out of space. And astronauts, just note that they are actually people that go out of space. Now, since 1957, man has been traveling to the outer space to find out what happens there. So since 1957, so it means that the first time man actually ventured into outer space was in 1957. Next thing to note is that astronauts wear special dresses. Now you can see on the screen where we talked about the astronauts, the dresses they put on. Now those dresses are called suits. Okay, they help them to maintain the Earth's atmospheric pressure around their body throughout their stay in space. Now, also, astronauts carry dry food and oxygen masks. You know, in outer space, there is little or no supply of oxygen. In fact, there is no oxygen there. So they need oxygen in order to respire, or actually, they need oxygen in order to respire. Now, we also mentioned some things about, spaceship. And I said that spaceship are used for space travel, okay, for space traveling. Now, spaceship is moved by rockets. It doesn't just accelerate on its own. They are moved by rockets. We're going to be seeing a spaceship much later in our discussion in this particular topic. You're going to see what a spaceship looks like. They are usually moved out of space or out to the outer space by means of rockets. Now, after leaving the atmosphere, gravity no longer pulls the spaceship to the Earth. If you check our videos on gravitation and weightlessness, we said that there is a force in the center of the earth that pulls all objects in the earth towards the center of the earth. And we said that force is called the force of attraction, or you can say the gravitational force of attraction. Now, this gravitational force of attraction is only experienced in Earth, okay? Once someone gets to outer space, there is no hold again. The gravity has no influence on anything. And that is where astronauts, if you check them on videos and all the others, you see them float. They appear to be weightless, okay? They appear to be weightless in their spaceship. So these are few things to take note of astronauts. And please note, astronauts, you don't just become an astronaut. They are well trained for such events. They are well trained, very trained. Now, the next thing again to note is purpose of space travel. Purpose of space travel. Remember when we were discussing about astronauts, why they go out to space? That is what we call purpose of space travel. Now, one important purpose for space travelers or traveling is that it helps to watch everything that is happening in the world on television, okay? Such as games at the same time the event is being carried out. Now, there are several in your televisions. You can agree with me. You can watch a live football match. Even you can watch live news, live broadcast. Now, all these things are made possible through space travel. There are satellites that are actually mounted outer space that grants us the opportunity of viewing what is actually happening at that particular moment you are viewing it, okay, no matter the place where you find yourself. All right, so this is one of the purposes. I can even call that one of the benefits of space travel. So it has helped in such areas, and I believe that is one of the driving force that made people or astronauts or made some group of people to actually embark on this space travel. Number two is that space exploration is the use of astronomy. Astronomy is actually the study of things in outer space, and study of use of astronomy and space technology to explore outer space. Now, man has benefited, man has learned so much about the outer space using several space technology and astronomy. Most things have been designed to help us understand better the outside world. All right, and we call that space exploration. Man has been going on space exploration like we've seen ever since 1957, and it has paid off very good. Now, another purpose or reason why people embark on space travel is out of curiosity. Now, man is actually a curious being. We have that great desire to find out the nature of life in other planets. In fact, man really wants to know if we are actually the only living organisms in this solar system. Man wants to explore all the planets. Man wants to explore a whole lot of things. In fact, there are a whole lot of questions in the hearts of so many about the outer space. So out of curiosity, man is still making explorations. Man is still actually making several findings, and they are still doing it. They've not stopped, and I don't think they will ever stop. Okay, so it is out of curiosity. Number four is the need for more knowledge. I've just mentioned something like that before. The need for more knowledge. Knowledge of our climate, knowledge of the vegetations of the earth, and there are so many things man can learn from space travel. It will help in building up our own lives here on earth. And then number five, the landing of equipment called satellites in space has also led to the improvement in communication all over the world. It has helped in communication. There are several satellites that have been placed in outer spaces that has helped in communication. I can easily communicate with somebody that is so far from me. I can communicate with somebody from Nigeria. You can communicate with somebody in China. You can communicate with somebody in Brazil. You can communicate with somebody in Greece and so many other places, all thanks to space travel and all thanks to satellite in the outer space. So it has helped a great lot. It has helped a great deal, okay, to make communication and several processes easy and fast. And then these are some of the purposes for space travel. Now, finally, we're also looking at benefits of space travel. Benefits. Now, what are some of the benefits of space travel? Number one, it is to collect scientific information about the Earth and other planets. Remember, we said that man is actually curious of so many information, curious that it has brought so many questions that needs answers. So one of the benefits is that we have actually, to this point, man has actually gotten so much information, not enough though, but a handful of information about the Earth and other planets. In fact, it is through this space travel we know that we have the 9 planets, we have the solar system, we have the sun. We also know that the Earth revolves around the sun. Through all this, we've also noted that the Earth rotates about its axis. It is also through space travel. We've also known that the moon also revolves around the Earth. It is also through space travel. We have also understood, gotten the information of eclipse and so many other important things that a man has gotten as information about the Earth and other planetary bodies. Okay, so another benefit again is production of special computers. Now, special computers have been developed because of space travels. Special computers, special hardwares that can be remotely controlled. Okay, that can be remotely controlled. And these are some of the benefits. Number 3 is production of photographic equipment that can take pictures of distant planets, that can take pictures, that can also get visible images of X-rays, gamma rays, and so many other. These are high-level space technologies that have been developed through space travels. And then number 4 is production of telecommunication equipment. We've mentioned this. Satellites have been stationed in outer space that has actually helped in so many ways to make communication faster as well as easy. To make communication faster and easy. And then number 5 is production of remote sensing equipment to guide spacecraft. All right. And then the last one is production of rockets or aircraft fuels. Remember, we said that spaceships are moved to outer space by rockets. And if you check there on that screen there, you will see the spaceship that looks like a plane, and then you can see the rockets oozing out, burning off fuels, okay, that will propel this spaceship into outer space. Now, the production of these rockets all came out of the curiosity to explore the space, or out of curiosity for space exploration. So this has brought a whole lot. It has helped us in a whole lot of ways. So these are some of the benefits of space travel. Now, what are the dangers? The dangers. Number 1, explosion of rockets at launch time or during flight. Now, there are several cases that have been recorded where explosions actually took place, and that is a very dangerous one. It can lead to the death of so many lives. It can also lead to the loss of properties of millions of dollars. Okay, so during launch time, and that is when the spaceship is about to take off from the launch station, and also during flights, there are several cases where explosions can also take place. Number 2 is failure of some necessary equipment in the spaceship to function well. Now, severally it can happen. These are all machines There are several cases where it will malfunction or it will fail to actually work. And then number 3 is inability of the rockets to reach escape velocity. Now, escape velocity is the velocity that is actually needed by the spaceship to break out or to overcome the gravitational influence of the Earth and come into outer space. Okay, so the inability of the rocket to reach escape velocity, definitely that spaceship cannot cross the Earth. There will be a gravitational influence or pull on it. And then number 4 is wrong calculations. Most times what brings about inability of the rockets to reach escape velocity is actually due to wrong calculations. Wrong calculations of the angles, wrong calculation of speed and time of launch and all that. That's a time of launch. It can also bring about explosion. Wrong calculations are one of the major causes, or one of the major causes of dangers of spacecraft or spaceship. Okay, wrong calculations. Next is the problems of space travel, and I'm going to round off with this: problems of space travel. Number 1, high speed. Now, astronauts have to be trained in order to adapt to the high speed of space travel, because the speed with which the rockets move the spaceship to outer space is incredible. So the astronauts must be well trained. I told you before when we started, I said astronauts are well trained individuals. They are well trained. So they are well trained to cope with some of these changes in their own environment. Number 2, complicated calculations can also be a problem. There are lots of calculations, yes, lots of calculations. So it means that people that are actually working in these areas are, must be accurate in their calculations, must be fast and accurate in their calculations. So there are lots of calculations involved before a spaceship can be launched correctly at an angle, speed, and time to arrive at its destination. Calculations must be in place, accurate calculations. In fact, there is no room for errors, because any error or wrong calculation can lead to a very dangerous effect, a disastrous effect. Number 3, problem of space travel is loss of weight. Now, this is also another area where the astronauts are well trained. Imagine yourself in an area where you are weightless. So you're not able to walk the way you do on Earth. Most of the activities you carry out on Earth, you will not be able to. Now, most times, what helps us walk, what helps us drive our cars, what helps us do a lot of things, standing and all that, it's actually due to the gravitational pull of the Earth, okay? Now, when you go outer space, you become weightless. So you need to be trained on how to actually manipulate that environment for to your own favor. And sincerely speaking, it is actually difficult, very difficult, very, very difficult. So most astronauts are trained for years in order to adapt to such changes in loss of weight. And then number 4, we have basic needs. Now, this is also a problem. Whenever the space travel takes place, there should be, in fact, the basic needs should be supplied. Basic needs, things like food, things like oxygen, and so many other things, water, they must be available in the spaceship. They must be available. It is a must. It must be available in the spaceship. And then finally, number 5 is escape velocity. Escape velocity. Remember, I told you that the escape velocity is actually the velocity needed by the rocket to actually overcome the Earth's gravitational force and then go into outer space. Now, rockets require escape velocity to escape from the force of attractions of the Earth. So these are some of the problems that are encountered during space travel. And also, this is where we're going to call it a wrap-up on this particular class on space travel. I'll see you in our next video. Bye for now.